Yo, what's up, chefs? It's Vinny, and allow me to welcome you to my full Zero to Hero Monk movie. This is going to be all 4 episodes combined into one, showing the full progression of my monk from level 1 with no handed down items or currency, all the way to the hardest difficulty of the Breach Pinnacle boss and the hardest difficulty of maps. So it will be a bit long. However, whether you are a first-time viewer of the channel just looking for a fun, budget-friendly monk build that can destroy everything in the game, and you want to see the progression of said build beforehand, or you are a follower of the channel who maybe just didn't see the first few episodes, or you want something to slap on your second monitor while you grind out some currency, level up a new character, or even just something in the background while you head to sleep, then this is the video for you. So grab yourself some Chipotle or Chick-fil-A, whatever you prefer, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Also, I just want to quickly say thank you all so much for the immense amount of support recently. I cannot say how grateful I am to have such an amazing community of people behind me. You chefs are the best. Yo, what's up, chefs? It's Vinny, and this is going to be my hybrid Cold Lightning Monk Zero to Hero.
Power. My training continues.
Another day, another victory for the OG, taking down the sweats.
Now, this is going to be my first time trying to make a video like this, and outside of the obvious stuff like the fact that all of my editing is self-taught and I've got an infinite amount of room to improve, I was really struggling with whether or not I should or shouldn't talk in this video, and if so, at what intervals. So I kind of just went with my gut.
Yoink.
First things first, the early levels with melee skills kinda just feels like you're being punished, so we had to grab ourselves a bow, plus some other goodies, and then slot lightning arrow, just to get us to about level 10 where we can swap back to melee when things aren't so bad. Also, yes, I am using gold at the vendor, and it is shared across my account. Sue me, I don't really care. I will not be using the gambler though, and I'll only be using currency I find on this character to trade with. And I'll be showing those trades in the video, and they'll be almost immediately after I get the currency, so I can keep my character as powerful as possible throughout the whole playthrough.
Endless power. Nightmares have no power against the light.
After killing the frost witch and the giant scary worm, it was time to throw on our cosmetics and then get to blasting, because I really wanted to swap back over to melee as soon as possible.
Sleep now, then dream no longer. Yoink.
Here, we hit the Exalted Orb jackpot off the side quest for the Spirit Gem, which I've never had happen before, but this allowed us to get a super nice quarterstaff going into the final boss of Act 1.
The eternal impure. With blood.
Must make haste. Let us return to Clearfell to make our preparations.
Yoink!
Yeah, boy. That's it. Lovely.
Chaos damage with no chaos resistance. Yummy.
I shall dethrone you, Sekama, and leave you to the sand! We shall finish this! But not today.
Why are you running?
After spending the 2 exalted orbs from earlier and getting some massive upgrades, it was time to blast through some more levels and the majority of Act 2 because I desperately wanted to get charged staffs so I could finally beat Darth Maul.
Nice.
My king nears.
Fight back!
Freezing strike!
Fight back! Fight back!
By the dreamer!
Kaboomski.
I'm unable. A servant of the dreamer has dared and succeeded. A living not yet. Discipline and strength triumph once again. My path. The mighty fall.
Brother, what's that?
After getting that massive quarterstaff upgrade, here's a full boss fight just so you can see how the build's going so far. Obviously it's not a world record kill, but considering it's a 0 to hero with no hand-me-downs or twink gear, I was pretty happy with it. After that, we've just got 2 more levels until we get charged staff, and then the build really comes online. For this next section, I'm going to have a fair bit of unedited gameplay, minus cutting out the parts where there's nothing to hit on screen, just so you guys can see how fun this build is at such an early level and even on a very low budget.
As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, put up 10 feet. I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yo, what's up chefs? It's Vinny, and allow me to welcome you back to episode 2 of the 0 to Hero series on my monk. If you haven't seen episode 1, I definitely recommend you go check it out, but simply put, I'm only using items and currency that I find on this character, so there are no hand-me-downs or assistance from the rest of my account. In this episode, we'll be going through Act 3, 4, and 5, making some pretty massive build changes along the way, and ultimately ending up with something that is literally just obliterating everything, including bosses, within a couple of seconds, as I'm sure you saw in the intro. Also, due to popular request, I will be including a character/build update somewhere around the middle of the video, So if you are one of the people that are interested in that, then make sure to stay tuned. Otherwise, feel free to use the chapters down below to skip that part, as it will probably interrupt the flow of the video. As you just saw, we already got an Exalted Orb drop really early into Act 3, which is super nice for us. Now, we just had to take care of the Witch Hut with Dumb and Dumber for our Lesser Jeweler's Orb.
Yoink.
After we throw that on Ice Strike so we can add Primal Armament as the third support, it was time to spend that Exalted Orb on a new helmet. After taking care of the Gorilla and getting the Snake Venom for our permanent bonuses, I thought it was only appropriate to get the red character effect to truly embody Darth Maul.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Now, this boss started off a bit rough as it took me a while to fully get him frozen, but then he went down pretty quickly. Either way though, I wasn't happy with how long it was taking to freeze bosses, so I knew that I was due for some upgrades relatively soon. The first of which is actually a very important jewel that will give me rage on hit, and you definitely want to try and get at least one of these if you're playing this build. After finishing the ultimatum trial, we got access to our 3rd and 4th ascendancy point, which we used to pick up Unbound Avatar. And let's just say this gave us a little boost to our damage. Now that we're level 45, we could equip our new quarterstaff, and you guys can see just how much of a difference getting a new weapon actually makes to your DPS. Up next, we have the final boss of Act 3, and I gotta be honest, he was giving me a really hard time. I just felt like I didn't have enough damage, he was getting so many attacks off that I had to keep dodging, but finally we were just barely able to get him down without dying. It was super close and actually took a while, so make sure to strap in.
So that was a lie.
Now that we were into the Cruel Axe, I was feeling pretty good about my damage, but I definitely wanted to improve my defense, especially with the reductions to my elemental resistances. So once I got to town, I decided to exchange my 2 Chaos Orbs for 4 Exalted Orbs, and then use all 7 of those Exalted on a new chest piece, boots, and necklace, since those are all items that I've either gotten from vendors, or just by picking them up off the ground and identifying them, and they were all sorely due for an upgrade. Now that we got our upgrades, we still just needed to get to level 48 to actually be able to equip them.
Twisted nightmare.
Alrighty, so now that I'm level 48, so I can equip my new gear, and yes, I will be able to equip the chest piece once I get the added dexterity from the necklace and boots, which was definitely calculated, not lucky at all. Thought I would do a quick character update because I've had a lot of comments asking to do those during this series. However, it is going to be very surface level. I'm going to be creating a full, in-depth, detailed build guide right after this video comes out. So I would definitely recommend you check that out if you want to play this build. This is going to be very surface level. For the gear, I'm going to start off with what I have been wearing, so not including the upgrades, and then I'll go over the upgrades. And realistically, for the skills, passives, and gear, everything I'm about to show is what you've seen for the last 5 to 10 bosses or whatever it's been exactly. What I killed Doriani with, the Apex of Filth Queen with, any bosses that I've killed so far in Cruel Act 1. When I've been one-shotting the bosses, it's what you're about to see. For the gear, like I said, it's going to be very surface level. I'm just going to hover over each piece, and then I'll probably give like the top 2 or 3 priority stats. Everything else is cherry on top. So for the staff, we got this for 1 Exalted. Percent increased Fizz, adds to physical damage, and percent increased attack speed are the priority. Brief interruption by me from the future, just to say that the added fire damage on the quarterstaff, even though I didn't realize it until later, and it was just a coincidence that the staff I bought had it, it is actually a pretty important part of the build because it was giving me more than enough damage to ignite enemies, including bosses, especially with Unbound Avatar and Tempest Spell, which I found out when rewatching some of the super quick boss kills. Once I realized this, I picked up Echoing Flames, combine that with Echoing Frost and Echoing Thunder, and this resulted in me doing 90% extra elemental damage, which is insane, and it's making me heavily consider coming all the way down here to get Harness the Elements, which actually isn't that far away from where I'm currently at, but I'd grab Harness the Elements, which would result in an additional 60% elemental damage, because I'm currently already applying Ignite, Chill, Freeze, and Shock. Also, just as a side note, I tested this node, One with the Storm. Quarterstaff skills that consume power charges count as consuming an additional power charge with charged staff, and I confirmed it does not work at all. It does not make 3 power charges result in like a 4 power charge charged staff, so if you're going this build, don't bother getting it. For the gloves, we got these for 1 Exalted. The adds to Fizz damage, Max Life, and Fire Res are the priority, everything else is whatever. Helmet, Max Life, Fire Res, Cold Res. Life Regeneration is a nice bonus, but not priority. 1 Exalted as well. Gloves were 1 Exalted, I don't know if I said that. Chest piece, we found this and ID'd it back in Act 2. Max Life, Cold Resistance are priority. Spirit was a nice bonus. Life Regeneration was a nice bonus. Belt, we got this for 1 Exalted. Max Life, Fire Res, Lightning Res. Boots, found these from a vendor, should be included at the beginning of this video. Increased movement speed is honestly the only priority stat here, but the lightning res is a very nice bonus. Ring, we got this for 1 exalted, adds to fizz damage, fire res, and leech physical attack damages. Mana would be the priority. Second ring, 1 exalted as well, adds fizz damage, max life, cold res, and leech physical attack damages mana once again, and the chaos resistance base. So the amethyst ring is very important, giving you that chaos resistance because it's very hard to find. Amulet, I can't remember if we found this and ID'd it or if we found it from a vendor. I'm honestly not sure at this point, but the only thing that matters on here is the cold res and lightning res. As for the gear upgrades, you guys probably already saw these, but for this amulet, it's going to be the max life, level of melee skills, cold res, lightning res. The max mana and increased evasion rating are definitely nice bonus stats, though I'm not going to lie. This was a steal for 2 exalted.
Winter prevails.
Chest piece, we've got the priority stats once again, 2 exalted orbs, priority stats, evasion rating, percentage increased evasion rating, fire res, cold res, max life, big bonus here. Max life is always good, but I wouldn't put it above all of the other stats. And then our new boots as well, 2 exalted orbs as well, I believe. One of these was actually 3. I can't remember. Maybe the chest piece was 3. Maybe the necklace was 3. 2 of these were 2 and 1 of these were 3. I already forgot. But for the boots, 20% increased movement speed, evasion rating, max life, lightning res, all of the priority. Dexterity is bonus. Reduced shock duration on you is like pretty negligible, I'm going to be honest. Moving on to the skills, same thing here. I'm just going to hover over them. I'll talk more about them in the actual build guide. Unbound Avatar, Persistence, Ice Strike, Martial Tempo, Concentrated Effect, Primal Armament, Tempest Spell, Rage, Heavy Swing. We swapped out Overabundance for Heavy Swing at some point in Act 3. Charge Staff, we've got Lightning Infusion, Conduction, Herald of Ice, Magnified Effect, Cold Infusion, Hypothermia, Heightened Curse, and Expanse. Combat Frenzy, Profusion. And we were running Wind Dancer when we had this other chest piece on, and we will put Wind Dancer back on when we get additional spirit from Act 1 and Cruel. On to the passive tree. I have done a lot of testing and tweaking with the passive tree. I've been looking at like 4 to 5 different build guides and trying to just create the best amalgamation of all of them that seems to me to be the best. Obviously, we won't know for sure until Path of Building comes out. And once again, going to be more detailed in the build guide. I have no idea really what route I would take at this exact moment, because like I said, I've tweaked it so much as I've been leveling to try and just like get the most damage possible. But super like brief guess on what the route would be something like this. You go up through here, stop at Echoing Frost, come back, grab Killer Instinct, tenfold attacks. Then you're going to go here. If you have Combat Frenzy and Charge Staff, go Resonance. If not, go here for True Strike, for the Jugular, Deadly Force. And as soon as you can get Combat Frenzy, Charge Staff, stop whatever you're doing in the passive tree and get Resonance. Because that's like, you need Resonance to make the combat or Charge Staff work. Once you get all of this stuff though, then you're going to go on a big old journey down here. Come grab Serrated Edges. Then you're going to grab Coming Calamity. And then I would come back and grab Echoing Thunder. And I think that would be the route. The only thing maybe I would change, like I said, this will be included in the build guide, but maybe you just come, like after you get these two and you come here, maybe you just get Resonance and then skip this for a little bit. And you take this big journey, come down, get Coming Calamity, Serrated Edges, and then you grab this stuff. But I'll have to think about that more, and I'll be sure to include that in the build guide, the exact route I think is best. Alrighty, that's going to conclude episode 2 of my Zero to Hero series. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help. For those of you that are interested, here is the current iteration of my passive tree that I'm working with. I'm level 58 just for reference. Currently I'm going for Deep Trance, but this is what it's looking like at the moment, just in case you wanted to see. Beyond that, after this video comes out, I'm going to quickly finish up Act 3 or Act 3 Cruel, start on some maps. After I do a little bit of the end game, I'm going to make a build guide for getting you through the campaign very smoothly, having a good time. Then after that, once I do episode 3 and episode 4 of the Zero to Hero series, eventually I'm going to make an end game focused guide as well, which should be, really in detail. Hopefully get you all the way to tier 15 maps, maybe even pinnacle bosses. It's just going to depend on where I'm at. But just to let you guys have a little bit of update on what's coming next. Other than that, take it easy, chefs. I'll see you in the next one. Yo, what's up, chefs? It's Vinny, and allow me to welcome you back to episode 3 of the Zero to Hero series. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how my build went from this to this. And yes, I will be including a full 6-mod T16 map demonstration at the end of the video with a boss. I'll also be including a character breakdown at the very end of the video. So if you're interested in that stuff, make sure to stick around, or you can even just skip ahead. I should have the timestamp on screen, and there'll definitely be chapters down below. In order to understand how we got there though, there's no other way to do it than to start where we left off in episode 2, which is the beginning of Act 3 Cruel. However, I know you guys have already seen Act 3, and I made no updates to my build during this time, so I decided to just make it a short little highlight reel of the last few bosses, and then we're going to get into the upgrades I got right after the campaign.
Every drop of foul blood you have spilled. Storm, I'll show
Welcome
it.
to try. Where did she go? You will suffer, Architect of Death.
I can't give up. I will succeed. Let's see you survive this.
Moving into the end game, and we saved up all of our currency from almost all of Act 2 and definitely all of Act 3, which resulted in us having a total of 12 Exalted Orbs and 1 Chaos Orb. First things first, we grabbed a nice jewel and then we slammed 2 Exalts on it immediately after. Both gave us pretty solid rolls, I'm not gonna lie. After that, we went ahead and grabbed a ring. Unfortunately, I think we definitely overpaid for this ring. I do not think it was worth 4 Exalts after doing a little bit more searching, but you win some, you lose some. After that, we got a semi-okay belt for 3 Exalts. Maybe overpaid for this one too, but I needed to solve the puzzle of my resistances, and it had some nice life, so I wasn't complaining. Finally, we got a really nice chest piece, but unfortunately we definitely overpaid for this one. I immediately was searching a little bit more afterwards and found chest pieces that were even better than this one for just 1 Exalted Orb. Now that we respect our Ascendancy, which gave us a ton of extra spirit and a ton of armor rating, it was time to finally hit some maps. After doing maps for a little bit and farming back some of the currency that I had spent on my gear upgrades, I decided it was finally time to give my first attempt at getting my 5th and 6th Ascendancy point from the 3rd floor of Trial of Secamus. Now, I did a fair bit of prep for this because I've heard horror stories about how difficult it is, so I grabbed a few relics with honor resist, maximum honor, all for just 1 exalted each. I was even using one from one of my previous runs, just a random one with 8% max life that I forgot to augment because I'm a doofus. And I don't know if it's the build or the fact that honor resist is really just that strong, but I'll just let you see for yourself how difficult it was for this build and, you know, the poopy relics that I was running. And just like that, we got our 5th and 6th Ascendancy point. I'm gonna assume it was a combination of the build and the relics. I didn't try a run without the relics, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I imagine they were quite impactful, and obviously I was also doing a lot of damage based on the speed at which the bosses were dying. After that, I decided to slam a couple of Vol Orbs into my Ice Strike, hoping for a 4 socket, and thankfully one of them hit. Finally, I've been hearing so much about this tower thing and that you need to be juicing your maps with multiple towers, so even though I wasn't on super high tier maps, I wanted to play around with that just so I could get a feel for it. After messing around with that a little bit and feeling like I had a pretty solid understanding of the new mechanics added to PoE 2's endgame, I had my eyes set on the Atlas passive skill tree, so I locked in and cranked out some maps. Obviously, after doing 60 to 70 maps, I racked up a fair bit of currency. Nothing too crazy though, just like 30 to 40 exalts. I wasn't using any rarity gear, obviously, as you guys know, but with that I was able to get some well-deserved upgrades. The main one being a new staff for 20 exalts, and I did some testing before this with like some 1 exalted orb staffs, testing out elemental damage versus physical damage, and I came to the conclusion that for my build, I was getting a lot more bang for my buck by going for an elemental focused weapon. So that's what I went for. After I got it, slammed the Vol Orb, and holy fuck. It was around this time that a very big brain friend of mine introduced me to the idea of putting Cold Infusion in my Herald of Thunder and Lightning Infusion in my Herald of Ice. I already have a quick guide on my channel that goes over what this does and how it works, but effectively it creates a screen-wide chain explosion effect that is not only very satisfying, but extremely effective at clearing maps. So I took this new strategy and the ring I just got with percent increased rarity of items found back into maps, farmed about 30 or so, got a bunch more currency, bought a few more items which you're about to see. Then I'm going to be showing you guys and walking you through a full T16 6 mod map with a boss, and then finally I'll be giving a character update on all of my gear, skills, passives up to this point. So hope you guys enjoy. Alrighty, here we go. We got a T15 6 mod map. We're throwing it into a boss and corrupted map, so it's kind of like a T16. And I've also had a lot of people asking me about how this build does for bosses, so I made sure it's a boss map as well, so I can demonstrate that. Also, you guys will see a sneak peek of this at the end of this episode, but next episode you'll get to see the 4th floor Ascendancy Pinnacle boss. Whenever you get your 4th Ascendancy points, you'll see how fast that gets killed. Not in the sneak peek, of course, but really quickly, I'll just quickly hover over my gear so you can see it's all the same gear, and then we will get into it. And right after this is done, I'm going to be doing, obviously you guys will be seeing a full character build update, or not build update, but like a full character update with passive skills, gear, you know, support gems, all that stuff, so you guys can get an idea of what I'm working with exactly. Yeah, we're still getting those massive screen-wide explosions, and no problem whatsoever. Well, 18 uncut spirit gems is actually pretty nice. Obliterate rares. It's a precursor to what the boss fight's gonna look like as well. I've had no issues with bosses so far. Honestly, the only thing I've had issues with, and I'm sure some of you guys have experienced this as well, but the on-death explosions. I've only died 20 times. Only 3 of those were in the end game, and I believe all 3 of them were due to after death or like on death explosions. Like right there, that just did 4,000 damage to my energy shield. Little like blow up things. That wasn't even like a normal on death explosion either. Shit did so much damage. Okay, the range on that shit is also criminal. Let's stay away from big boys. Nice little exalted. But yeah, to everyone who said this wasn't possible at T15 maps, I mean, I think this should be proving it wrong pretty easily. Also, keep in mind, like I said, you'll see right after this with the full character update, but this is literally like a 70 exalt budget build, which is extremely cheap, all things considered. Like, most people are running around with at least 5 divine orb worth of builds in T15 maps. And I mean, yeah, this build is just super cheap. Obliterates the entire screen. Super tanky, no issues with bosses. I will admit I got a lot tankier whenever I started using energy shield, but I also didn't really need that until deeper maps. And I'm also not even really sure how much I need it per se. I mean, it helps with the on-death explosions, but like outside of the explosions, I'm not sure if it would even be necessary because everything just kind of dies, but that doesn't hurt. Kaboom. Alright. Pretty sure this is the boss, but I must be missing some rares, obviously. Completely whiffed my bow. Yeah, even my charge staff is enough to kill most things. Like, I don't even have to actually hit with Ice Strike. What are What are these explosions even that are happening right now on my screen? This shit looks crazy. Obviously the meteor, I think, is from the shrines, but some other big explosions. Okay, I think the last one is the boss. This one's just like bugged on my mini map. That's already dead. Try and cheat my charge staff or my power charges all the way until the boss. Make it a bit easier on myself, even though it's not actually necessary. Alright, we got our charge staff going. I mean, like, I'm sure there are builds that kill the bosses faster, but like, does it really get much faster than 2.5 seconds or whatever that was? Like 3 seconds, however long it took me to kill that boss. So yeah, that is a, like I said, T15, actually T16, 6 mod T16 map. Here's all the gear once again, just so you can see it's the same gear. Skills, still got a 4-link Ice Strike, no 5 links yet. Level 86. Here's the passive skill tree. I do technically have my 7th and 8th ascendancy point currently. Like I said, you won't see that this episode because some crazy stuff happened during the trial. Got some nuclear nice drops. So I'm gonna wait to include that until the beginning of next episode, but you will get to see a sneak peek at the very end of this one, or maybe I'll pop it in between this section and the character update. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed, and good luck. Have fun checking out the character update in just a second. Alrighty, we're back with the character update. This is literally immediately after the map I just showcased, the T16 with the boss. Still portals open right here. Haven't even started another map yet. First things first, we'll go over the gear. All of this gear was bought and the trade was shown during these episodes, minus the amulet. I've scoured literally like 8 to 10 hours worth of footage, and I just cannot find where and when I bought the amulet. So I'll be including a screenshot of a similar amulet on screen. I think it was for 10 exalted orbs. It's basically the same stats. I'll admit, I got it for kind of a steal, but there's a lot of new players right now. You can find good items for cheap if you look for like 3 minutes. So do with that what you will. I got this one for, I want to say like 15. So it's even a little bit more expensive than the one I'm showing on screen. But regardless, let's start with the weapon. Got the weapon for 20 exalted orbs, I believe. If I paid a different price based on what you remember from seeing in the video, feel free to correct me down below for the correct total, but I believe this was 20 exalted orbs. Both of these runes were 7 each, I think. Maybe 7 each, maybe it was more. No, I think it was 7 each. So 34 exalts total for the weapon. You do not need these runes, obviously, but they do provide an increase. It goes without saying. So 34 exalts there. This ring, got this pretty recently. Super duper crazy ring, to be honest. Got it for 25 exalted. Slammed a chaos orb on it. Hit the 7% to all elemental resistances. I think this is like a total of 105% all LE res, something around there, which is just absolutely insane. Once again, probably got this one for a bit of a steal. If you don't include the corruption, it's probably worth 40, 50 exalts. I'm not an expert, but that'd be my guess. Helmet, this one was definitely included in this video. 5 exalted orbs. So is the ring and weapon, I'm sure, but helmet was included. 5 exalted orbs for this one. Nothing crazy. I don't know if I'd even say it was a steal. It's just a pretty solid helmet. It does give us a lot of energy shield though, like 1,000 energy shield, which is nuts. Chest piece. I think we got this for 15 exalted. Also an insane item. This is like 1300 energy shield currently based on my passive tree setup. Yeah, just super insane for 15 exalts. Other ring, got this one for 2 exalted orbs. This is probably one of the things we're upgrading in the semi near future. Definitely no reason not to. Still not a bad ring for 2 exalted orbs though, not bad at all. Necklace, like I said, got this one for like 10 to 15. Solid stats, the 18% to all Ellie res, 8 all attributes, max life is sick, maximum energy shield is sick, crit chance sick. Boots, still using the same boots from the campaign for 1 exalted orb. Definitely need to upgrade these soon as well. Belt, I think we bought this right after we got out of the campaign for 1 exalted orb. Maybe it was like 3. But I think it was like 1 exalted orb. And then gloves, I can't remember if we got those this episode, or yeah, we definitely got these this episode as well. 1 exalted orb, I'm pretty sure. So in total, if you count the runes, it's like 34, 5, so that's 39, 15, that's 54, 25, that's 79, 81, another 15, so that's 96, 97, 98, 99. So about 99 exalted orbs for all of the items I'm currently wearing. And if you don't include the 2 runes, it's like 85. So I would say that's a pretty cheap setup for being able to blast through T15 maps like they're butter. And yeah. Moving on to the skills, still no 5 link. Basically, the skills are honestly very similar to the end of last episode, but Ice Strike, I'm just going to hover over these support gems so you can see them. I'm not going to explain all of them. Got Tempest Spell, 3 link. Charge Staff, we slammed the Corrupted Orb this episode. I think we did the same thing for the Ice Strike, slammed both of these with Corrupted Orbs. Got them up to 4 links because we have not bought any 4 link Jeweler's Orbs yet. We got Conduction, obviously. The last gem we put in is Persistence. It's kind of helping out with our Power Charge duration. Not Power Charge, but Charge Staff duration. Since we ended up speccing out of this at some point. Oops. Still rocking a 3 link Herald of Thunder. I've tried to slam it a couple times. No success. Same with the Herald of Ice. Something that is different from last episode to this one is not playing Hand of Chayula instead of Hypothermia. This is basically just a point and click application of your curse though. It also applies marks, so we've got Hypothermia and Freezing Mark with Heightened Curse slotted as well. And Dancer. We swapped Ghost Dance for Grim Feast. And then we've still got Combat Frenzy. And that is the skills. Moving on to the passive tree. Very, very similar to what is currently showing in my max roll planner on the triple element delayed. If not just like the exact same, to be honest. I can't actually see any differences other than like I don't have this yet. But I will be going for this relatively soon. But yeah, I'm not going to go over it fully. Like I said, there's really no differences. I mean, we got this. We're headed for this next. We've ended up getting Throat Seeker. Like in between last episode and this episode, we've picked up these nodes up here, which are super helpful. Got this node. I'm currently still running this node, so that way I don't have to get this one. Not sure if that's actually better, but it's something I'm testing right now, and currently it feels better to just take this node, so that way I can have both of these. Instead of having to like drop I Am the Blizzard for Sunder My Enemies. But yeah, that's the passive tree. Nothing too crazy going on here. I'm still basically running the same stuff, and I've just been literally just blasted through the whole end game all the way up to T15 maps. Like I said, I've obviously killed the 4th floor Trial of Sekima boss at this point. Not going to spoil how insanely quick that fight was, or how quick that fight was exactly, but let's just say didn't put up much of a fight. I'll put it that way. And yeah, that's the character update. If you guys have any questions, as I'm sure many of you know, I'm super responsive to the comments. Feel free to hop in the Discord. We're building up a super solid community in there. There's a lot of guys that are eager and willing to help out newer players. Ask a question, it will get answered. I can almost 100% guarantee it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to subscribe. Consider becoming a member of the channel if you'd really like to support me. And other than that, be on the lookout for an updated endgame version of the guide for this build, as well as episode 4, where I plan to not only showcase me killing the 4th floor boss of Trial of Secamus, but I'm also going to try and get to some other pinnacle bosses. I'm quickly building up the Breach Splinters, so we'll probably go for like the Breach Pinnacle boss. Maybe we'll go for like Delirium. Not exactly sure yet, we'll just have to see. So other than that, take it easy, have fun blasting.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, what's up, chefs? It's Vinny, and allow me to welcome you back to the final episode of my Zero to Hero Monk series, where I'll be showing you how I went from this to this, all for roughly a 5 Divine Orb budget. Also, I'll be including a brief character breakdown towards the end of the video where I go over the budget, passives, skills, etc., followed by the full step-by-step end-game version of my triple element monk build guide coming out hopefully tomorrow. Finally, if you guys enjoyed the series so far, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the Ranger series that's coming up next. Now, as always, we're getting things started with where we left off in the last episode, which means showing you how I got my final 7th and 8th Ascendancy points.
Can be no escape.
Following that, we had a lot of items that sold, but I'm just going to show you some of the bigger ticket ones. And then we also had a couple of items that we ended up purchasing. Give me the Grim Feast. Okay, there we go. Now we're chilling. Starting that third ritual without freaking... Oh my... Wait, isn't this crazy? Isn't this actually crazy rare? Right. Okay. Alright, we're rich. Yeah, I take back everything I said about Ritual. It's busted. Better than Breach. Infinitely better than Breach.
Nice.
I kind of don't want to do it if I can help it, but I might end up doing a couple upgrades just for defense here in the near future. So I can, like, feel like I just never die. I should probably upgrade my amulet at some point soon. So I can, oh my goodness. Say less, boys. Divine Orb. Right. Okay, use my power charges. And then cast on shock. Boom, boom. Okay, we're good. I don't know if my power charges will actually, I don't know if my charge staff is gonna last long enough, but we'll see. It's gonna be close. Alright. Alright. Alrighty, well. And then I go this way, right? Rising Pyre. This is like this. Pop our thingy. Rid of Grim Feast. Okay. Alright, this looks pretty good. Oh, I forgot to use my mana flask. Let's go! Let's go, bro. Let's go. Hands of Wisdom in action. Sheesh. Let's go. All right, let's see. Oh, Jesus. Holy. Wait, these are almost... Wait, these are like actually perfect, basically. Holy orbs, actually. What the fuck? Screw it, I'll just open the strong box, even though I never do these, but it's right next to the breach, so. Holy loot, bro. My goodness. It's disgusting. Oh, get the clasp pin. I'm gonna try and backtrack and go the down direction. Oh, please. Holy shit. Bro. Oh, I think I got that rare in time. That was minus the fact that I don't think I got a divine orb. That's probably my juiciest breach ever. Like, just from like total number of freaking splinters and bullshit that's dropping everywhere. Imagine being a bro. Imagine being a console player right now. Holy shit. Charge staff stacks aren't amazing. Shit, I almost trolled. Okay, there we go. W. We got actually piss. We got nothing that even showed up. And finally, as promised, here's the brief character breakdown. We're going to get things started with the gear and the budget, and we'll start things off with the staff. Before we actually get started, I do just want to quickly say that the market is in a bit of a crazy spot currently. There is something going around where people are, like, one person gets in a group of people and the one person has like 600% increased rarity of items found, and that's applying to the whole group, and it is kind of messing with the market, so you have to do your best to look for good deals, but it might be a bit difficult at this exact moment. With that being said, staff we've been using for quite some time, got it for 20 exalted orbs. I've personally helped 10 plus people find a similar staff for about 20 to 25 exalted orbs as well. Recommend looking during the day, you can find better deals at that time. Moving on to the helmet, we got this one for 1 Divine Orb because we had extra currency to spend. We got one with additional rarity of items found compared to our last one, and a little bit of extra energy shield. However, we were using this one previously for 5 Exalted Orbs, and I'm confident that this one would still be working just fine. Chest piece, same as the helmet. Shelled out some extra currency for this one. We paid 1 Divine Orb for it. With that being said, the difference between it and our 15 Exalted Orb chest piece that we were previously using is literally negligible. We lose 30 energy shield and 1% evasion. So, unfortunately, I got this one before I went Chaos Inoculation. I spent the extra currency to get Chaos Res on it. You can certainly learn from my mistake here and go quicker towards the path of Chaos Inoculation and get you a chest piece that is much cheaper. Moving on to the boots, same as the helmet and chest piece. We spent the Divine Orb on this one. We wanted the increased rarity of items found. But with that being said, it is likely a bit worse than our previous pair of boots actually, which we got for 5 Exalted Orbs. These just happen to not have rarity of items found, which is why these are so much more expensive. It is unfortunate that the rarity of items found stat is in the state that it is, but I caved and started getting items with it because I had extra currency. But a more budget-friendly version, certainly you can achieve for around 5 Exalted. Amulet, we got a new amulet since the previous video because we corrupted our previous amulet, unfortunately, and we wanted to allocate a new node for the anointment. We went with Storm Charge this time because I wanted to test it. I do think it is better than Relentless Vindicator, but Relentless Vindicator is such a cheaper option that I can't really say I recommend this one on a budget standard. So, cheaper option, Relentless Vindicator, you will be doing just fine. And this amulet is actually worse than our previous one, undoubtedly. This one just happens to have more rarity of items found. Moving on to our Breach Ring, we got this one for 10 Exalted Orbs. A quite nice ring, no doubt about it. Amethyst Ring, we've had this one for a while. 25 Exalted Orbs. We no longer need the Amethyst base because we are running Chaos Inoculation. Once again, learn from my mistakes. You can get one that's cheaper. The belt, we got this one on stream at the end of our last stream for 35 Exalted. Didn't show it in the recording because there's a bunch of stuff on screen that's blocking it, so there'd be no point. But we got it for 35 Exalted. No longer has Chaos Resistance and has +1 Charm slot, so we can slot our Stone Charm because you are susceptible to getting stunned if you're on Chaos Inoculation. Onto the gloves, the final piece, and it is the Hand of Wisdom and Action gloves. I've had plenty of people ask me if I think they would be good for this build. Long story short, they certainly are good, but if you aren't lucky enough to get them to drop from Zesht, which it is actually quite a high drop chance, then you would have to shell out 2 Divine Orbs roughly for them, maybe 3 depending on the market at that time. But I've heard plenty of stories of people getting them for 2. But they do give you a sizable DPS increase, although once again, not necessary. I've got gloves here for 20 Exalted Orbs that were definitely doing very good as well. With that being said, the end-all be-all on these is that they are good, undoubtedly. Moving on to the skills, I'm just going to briefly hover over all of these. Got our 5-link Ice Strike finally. Same 4 gems plus Crescendo. No close combat because it has that nasty 140% cost multiplier, would make mana issues quite realistic. Or quite a reality, I should say, but currently we have no mana issues. As you can see, I use my mana flask and I'm out regenning my mana costs. Tempest Bell, Font of Rage, Heavy Swing, Close Combat, Super Critical, Charge Staff, Herald of Thunder, Grim Feast. We no longer run Cannibalism or Vitality because we're playing Chaos Inoculation, so I'm using Herbalism, hoping that works with Eternal Youth. I'm not positive though. Hand of Chaiula, Wind Dancer, running Wind Wave instead of Vitality now, just kind of just because it seems like it's okay. There's not many good options here, to be perfectly honest, so I just went with Wind Wave. Herald of Ice. We are running Shock Siphon for our 4th link here. This is helpful during maps if you happen to be taking damage, especially during like a breach. You get a big chain explosion, it gives you a bunch of energy shield back, although certainly not necessary. I'm pretty sure if I took this off, I would notice 0 difference because I'm usually just sitting at 2x my energy shield the whole time anyways. And finally, Combat Frenzy, Profusion, and Clarity. Moving on to the passive tree, and it is quite similar to the end of last video, except for the fact that we are now running Chaos Inoculation and Patient Barrier. Obviously with Chaos Inoculation, we want to go for quite a bit of Energy Shield where we can get it, which is why Patient Barrier is quite good. Also, if you're going to run Chaos Inoculation, it is highly recommended that you use Eternal Youth to make your life flasks apply to your Energy Shield instead of your life, particularly because we don't have any bonuses to our Energy Shield recharge delay. In fact, we're actually making it worse, so once again, Eternal Youth, quite effective. Other than that, we did drop Essence of the Mountain and Essence of the Storm. We just kind of needed to free up those points once we changed to Chaos Inoculation. Build does get a little point hungry whenever you make this decision, but I do think it's worth it. The damage is still certainly quite good even without these nodes. You have no issues shocking and freezing, especially if you get the Hoa gloves, but even without those, you have no issue shocking and freezing. Excuse me. We also dropped these 3 nodes, and instead we're taking the extra crit damage bonus here and here. If you feel like you want more tankiness, feel free to pick these up, and you can drop this and this. Shouldn't be much of an issue. We are also taking Bestial Skin, which I believe is basically the replacement of Essence of the Mountain and Essence of the Storm. This certainly helps out with the tankiness and, provides a big boost to our evasion, which is quite nice. And other than that, pretty much everything else is the same. Obviously, we got some additional levels, so we're able to get like these points over here for extra crit chance, these points over here for extra energy shield, and everything else is pretty much the same. Ultimately, if you do want a more in-depth version of this and, which direction to go and, what route to take, at what level should you get these points, that will be included in the full build guide, hopefully coming out tomorrow. I'll be picking up that build guide from the end of the previous build guide, so the one that takes you into early end game. And I'll be going step by step from that point all the way to where I'm at now, so that way you can be having an amazing time even in the hardest difficulty of maps and some of the hardest difficulty pinnacle bosses that are available in the game. Finally, if you guys enjoyed this series and you want to see the Ranger series coming up next, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that. And if you guys think I should go even further in the Ranger series, like towards Arbiter of Ash, I'm currently personally not aware of the difficulty jump there between Zesht and Arbiter of Ash, especially for the highest difficulty of Zesht, which I've currently done. I don't know if that's harder or easier than the lowest difficulty of Arbiter of Ash. If it is easier, then you may need more investment in the build to get to Arbiter of Ash. I'm pretty confident though, if I went and challenged Arbiter of Ash right now, the lowest difficulty, I would probably just mollywop the shit out of him. But with that being said, like I said, if you guys want to see me go further on the Ranger, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I will certainly take it under consideration. And last but not least, take it easy, chefs.